Hey guys, today the video was originally supposed to be about me showing you what cool things you can do with an oscilloscope, such as looking at some waves and some data being sent over a serial port that comes from a laptop or like a desktop computer. I was going to do all that, except then I realized that my laptop doesn't have the necessary drivers to communicate with this thing. I also only have the drivers in CD-ROM format, which means that I need a CD reader, which my laptop does not have. Luckily, I have a desktop computer with 4 empty SATA ports and a Linux Mint hard drive. So let's get this thing started, shall we? Right off the bat, this PC might not look the most user-friendly, but I assure you the setup process is actually quite simple. The first thing we're going to need to do is to find ourselves a nice little power connector and just chuck it right on in the back. Next, what we're going to need to do is take this handy little screen that's been sitting over here and just bring it over and connect. Next up, we're going to need a keyboard in order to be able to type things on the computer. Luckily, I have this century-old PS2 keyboard that, very conveniently, can be used to type on this computer. I also like how it goes click-clack. Next up, we're going to need a hard drive, and luckily, I have a few spare. Now, not all of these hard drives are the same. Looking closer at them from the back, you will see that some of them have a lot of pins, and some of them have a little less pins. Now, this is important because I don't actually have connectors for these ones with a lot of pins on top, because they are of the older IDE standard type of hard drive. These newer drives have far less pins, and these are called SATA drives. They're much faster and frankly don't freeze up as often on me. So we just have to put that there, and yeah, whatever. It worked. It connected itself up very nicely. Haha. I totally did not do any of this. Now, the reason I chose this hard drive is, aside from being absolutely massive, being 1 terabyte, or what is it? Yeah, 1 terabyte in size. It also conveniently has a sticker that says Linux Mint on it, and that means that it has Linux Mint on it. Great. Now, we should be ready to just plug everything in. Just gotta take these 2 connectors here and just... Oh. Do I press it? Yeah, okay. Everything works. Nice. Little tiny boot message. Everything is working swimmingly. Let's see. Does it boot into Linux? Yep, okay, that's great. We can turn it off now. Because I forgot to add the optical disk drive, so it is completely useless. One quick trip to the supply closet later, and we have ourselves an optical disk drive. Now, this one connects in exactly the same way as a hard drive, because they are both using the SATA protocol, which also, very nicely, means that it will show up as a bootable drive in our BIOS. Just gotta plug it in. This little wire is the data wire. It goes right over here on the smaller side. Oop. And then we have to take our power connector and then just jam it into the remaining hole. So after plugging that in and plugging the other end of the data cable into the motherboard, we're ready for round 2. Cool, awesome. Now you can just boop. We just put in our CD with drivers, and we wait for Linux to finish doing its thing. Listen to these crisp noises. Ooh, very juicy. Okay, one thing though is that I do not have a mouse, but since Linux Mint is kind to us, we can simply navigate using the arrow keys and still somehow manage to do everything that I plan to do. After painfully navigating once more to this here location, I can just do Shift and then the right arrow key a couple of times to select all the files. Just gonna copy them and then try and go to the USB and just boop. And that's it. It should take a couple of minutes because this thing is older than I am, but eventually it gets done. Now that all this is nicely finished, I'm just going to go ahead, unplug the USB, unplug my other USB, take out this, unplug the keyboard, turn off this, unplug the video, unplug the power to the video, unplug the CD-ROM, unpower the CD-ROM, close the CD-ROM, power off the computer, unplug the hard disk, unplug the other side of the hard disk, unplug the power, unscrew the video, unplug the video, turn the computer over, unplug the power, and unplug everything from the wall. Like I said, very user-friendly, very easy to use. And that's how you copy files off of a CD-ROM onto a USB. Thanks for watching.